Today's episode of the Nateland podcast is brought to you by HelloFresh, Rocket Money, Delete Me, and BetterHelp. Hello, folks, and hey, Bear. Welcome to the Nateland podcast. I'm Nate Bargatze, Brian Bates, Aaron Weber, and the female Dusty Slay. She believes Anjelah Johnson doesn't believe in space just as much as Dusty Slay does.
And the Earth is flat.
You got to be the conspiracy person.
I can do that.
Would you have Ghost?
Yes.
Yes.
Are ghosts
You're a
conspiracy?
ghost.
Not everybody believes in ghosts, I guess, huh?
You
I
know,
do.
she was originally scheduled to come right before Halloween.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
she's an expert on ghosts.
So,
yeah.
Anjelah Johnson.
Hi.
So glad you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I know.
Thanks for having me. This is
Well,
fun.
I
I've been
know.
wanting to come and hang out with you guys for
Yes.
a minute.
We've been wanting you to come. Me and
Thank
Anjelah go way, way back.
Mm-hmm.
She took me on the road. She's the first one that ever took me out
Yep.
anywhere.
That's
Really,
awesome.
the only one that took me out. My
Really?
only, I would go out with some other people. I went out with Marin and Bert. Like Marin probably was a good bit, but you were the longest.
Yeah.
I went out I really
Uh-huh.
learned a lot with you because we would go to all the clubs
Yep.
and really was just on all year. Went to Guam.
Mm-hmm.
And, where was it? In the other, I know I can't blank in the other place. It was Guam and
Saipan.
Saipan.
Where's
Yeah.
that?
Next to Guam.
To Kansas. Yeah. It is right next to
What
Guam.
about Nate made you want to take him out with you on the
It's
road?
hilarious. And a good hang. That's very important to
Okay.
me. I have to feel comfortable
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah.
And you gotta be funny.
Mhm.
Like, I don't do favors on stage.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, you gotta be funny.
Yep.
And then we spend way too much time together to not enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
it has to be someone that you trust. And I think I loved that you were married, and so you wouldn't be like hoeing out
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's a different vibe
Yeah.
when you're working with somebody who's
Right.
like hoeing in the streets.
Yeah.
And you're
Right.
like, oh, okay, just show up on time tomorrow. See
Yeah.
you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Because you were single then too and probably getting hit on a lot.
I actually did not get hit on a lot. It's different for girls. Like, I think it's like intimidating. Like, a guy doesn't look at a girl in a position of power and be like, oh, let me try a hit on her.
Mm.
That's not really a thing.
It's
You
interesting.
know? I think if after the show, if I hung out at the bar and like
Yeah.
mingled, then probably, yeah, but I never did.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
There when we first met, we both did New Faces.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal New Faces, 2008, I believe. And so it was I always liked this story because it was like Anjelah asked me like, "Oh, do you want to open for the road?" In my head, I'm like, "We are both on New Faces, Anjelah." I was like, "Why would I go open for someone that's got the same thing I got?" And then we went to Houston, I think was the first one, and you sold out 8 shows, and I was like, "Oh,
Okay. Yeah. This is
I go,
different. Yeah.
That's why." You know, I still have a set from that weekend that plays on Sirius Radio.
No way.
Yeah, because they recorded. It was right when Sirius was. I don't know, Sirius 2008, but it was like something. There was a reason I wanted to do it, and so it's still played. There's some old jokes.
Wow.
And it's because they had an audio recording there, and that you could do it, and I got it, and I submitted that to
Oh, that's
Sirius,
cool.
and it still gets played.
Oh, I wonder if I could ever go back to some of my old tapes that I have and like submit it. Hey, this is vintage. I mean, I don't know that I want to hear any of my super old stuff. Although I'm currently posting like from the vault
Yeah.
clips of like,
it's
this was
good.
my first time on stage and, stuff like that. But
If you have old
interesting.
albums, or if you have old stuff that you can put out on Sirius, I would
Mhm.
do it. Yes, absolutely. Especially when you own that probably too.
yeah.
It's not through someone else.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, then you're going to get 100% of the money for
Yeah.
Sirius. So that's the positive with that one that I have. That is like, I just send it. I'm not, I don't own it with someone else. It's just me. And then when you all the other ones, they're like, it's you're splitting it because you don't own. It's like
Right.
half and half,
Right.
whatever it is. But yeah, you should definitely submit that. You're clean. You play on all the channels. That stuff. Those clean channels there's not that much they can put on there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on it, but your whole album can be put on
My
that.
new special, I own that whole thing because I did it myself. So
That's great.
That's going to go up there.
Yeah.
I think next year. We're working on it right now.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, that's perfect. You get it. That's what I own, Hello World. And it was the only one I've ever owned. And, owning it is, it's kind of crazy because you can do whatever you want with it. When you do Netflix and stuff, you're like, you can only post so much stuff and blah, 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 and all this kind of thing. And it's wild to be like, yeah, do whatever you see it in the email and you're like, wait, I have the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't ever feel like you get the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's always with Comedy Central, like Full-Time Magic. I don't have it. I don't have it. I can't. If you were like, can I go watch it? I'd be like, well, I'll go buy it on iTunes.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're seeing it, like it's just in your email and you're like, that's crazy, dude. You just have the entire special. You can do whatever, cut it up, do whatever you want.
I just had an email earlier. They were asking about like, when her exclusive rights to YouTube are done, and then we'll put it up on our channel, talking about like the next steps after this special. And I was like, when are my exclusive rights done? It's mine. I own it. It's on my page. Do I have an you know what I mean? Then I'm like, I don't know. How long do I get to decide how long I want it on my channel only? It was because typically there's like a boss that I go like, hey, how long? When's the contract up? And I can put it on other places.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, when is the contract? I don't know. Who do I ask?
Ask yourself.
Yeah.
And then tell yourself, I'm tired of you asking this question.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, you again.
You know what? Tuesday. That's when I decided.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way a lot of entertainment is starting to become. Is this? It's everybody can kind of do their own thing, and it's a good thing. You got to be It's like I always think you got to be somewhat careful. You don't want to be like too making people pay for stuff or like trying to it's like stuff just still needs to be accessible.
Yeah.
But you can go. I mean, you can go make your own TV show if you want to, and put it on YouTube. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty fun. Another thing that I would say about you, Anjelah, because I learned so much through watching you. When you would come over, everybody knew you. And hey, I got caught my was it Full-Time Magic? I got, I think, with you.
Really?
The half hour.
It was a half hour.
My Comedy Central presents. Dave Rath called me. You were at my house.
Oh wow!
You're at my parents' house.
Yes.
And they called and I found out I got the half hour with you there. And something that always stuck with me, that I might have told you before, but I'll say it again. That my dad always said about you is that when you came over to our house, I mean, you were the first like celebrity come, like no one, it was like crazy that every, all my aunts came over, like we had everybody come because they knew Anjelah was coming over. And my dad said about you, he said, Anjelah gave everybody her time. So like everybody you went to, you really looked them in the eyes and you gave them the time. And I carried it with that to me to this day because seeing you do that. That was always a special thing.
Yeah, I stopped doing that.
Yeah. That's changed.
Yeah.
I travel with her now. And she's like, don't talk to me. Don't look at me.
Brian will bring that out of you.
Yeah.
Man. That's what we learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hang with me is shut up.
It's a lot of you again.
That's special.
I think your dad says he still, before he burned the house down, has her picture on the refrigerator.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love your dad.
I mean, you were our first, you were huge. And so you were the first person we ever saw that, like, people were like, she's coming to your house. And you were like, yeah.
The girl from YouTube is coming?
Yeah. But it's like the first, you were the first wave of the YouTube.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't know, it's the Nail
Salon.
Nail Salon girl. I'm sure people know, but if they don't, It's that in that sketch, like, and I mean, it was fun to watch you have to, because you would close on it. Then, I mean, I was with you long enough to see you try to be like, well, you gotta stop doing it.
Right.
Like, it can't just be. You don't feel like you can do this forever.
And it's funny because with that joke, like the nail salon was so everybody wanted it, and especially during those like first 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. It was still like people were just finding it. And now it's almost like nostalgic.
Yeah.
Right. So now when I present it in my show, I present it kind of like a thank you.
Yes.
Like, hey, thanks for
that's
riding
great.
with me for so long. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of you know of me because of this bit. A lot of you heard of me because of this bit. Some of you quote this with your friends from high school, and like, because I'll have girls come up to me in like a meet and greet or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my god, I used to watch you when you were in when I was in high school," and I'm like, "Wait, we're not the same age? Like, what happened? What do you mean? Like, I thought me and you look the same. Hold on, wait a minute." And so now it's kind of like that piece that I like save for the end. Like, we just experienced a whole hour of like new material, nothing you've ever heard before, and then you know what? Thank you. So here we go. And then as soon as I even mention it, it's like crazy energy.
One of the biggest pops I've heard at Zany's was when I got to open for Anjelah and you did that. And I was like, oh man, that's amazing. Yeah. To have anything that resonates with people like that is pretty special. Yeah.
Well, everything that I have gone through, all my experiences are through you. So it's all the anytime you start. Thank you. No, it means a lot. It really does. It's all the headlining the clubs, and people are there to see you. And I remember at Zany's we saw where or somewhere else they're like, oh, you're like, hey, we need like security or something, and they don't. No one would really do it, and it's like then it becomes a problem. And you're like, yeah, she should have. Someone's got to be out there. Like
they told you and I to do it.
Yeah, at Zany's. They told us. And then it's like you just see all this stuff that you almost see.
Him being security for anything is hilarious.
Oh. He just would stood next to her, and everybody's like, I don't think it's worth going over there.
I would just repel them by being close to her. Yeah, well, they did. They're like, could you guys go and how well you think that went over with him when they asked to be security?
Well, because we're not doing
right.
We don't work for the club,
right?
And you think you might need somebody.
That was a while.
Real,
I think Anjelah had a lot of people didn't know how big she was.
Yeah,
and so it's like, oh, Anjelah Johnson's coming this weekend. And they don't think anything. Then they're like, oh, well, it's 8 shows. And then I would see when she would take pictures with women, they're very excited, and then they're grabbing her and you do this and do that. Like it's a whole thing. So if there's no somewhat control, she'll be out there for 2 hours, and it's going to be exhausting.
Yeah.
But no one is. You can just see when people are like, they've never seen this, they've never dealt with this, so they don't know how to. They don't know how to do it.
There would be times after the shows, like meet and greet at merch, when I used to go out to the merch table and say hi to everybody. Whoever I was working with as a road manager at the time would try to explain, like, okay, we need stanchions to like organize this and like keep people back. And they're like, we got it. We do this every weekend. We got it. And we're like, okay. And then sure enough, it's just like madness, and they're trying to like problem solve, or like, this is why we told you, and then fix it for the next day. But it's like, it was a lot of that we don't like. They were like, we got this, girls. Because there was like all girls coming in, me and a female road manager. And they're like, you're cute. We got it.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
Yeah. It's going to be. Yeah. It's almost like, I wonder if it was just the fan. It was, I wonder if it was the first kind of, like it's almost the surprise fandom that people don't know what they're getting into. Because you got to think, before internet and all that stuff, most clubs, you're like, whatever big act that you have, that guy, you probably know the crowd that's exactly coming. There's a level of like, before internet, anybody that came through a comedy club that sold tickets was like, everybody knew who that person was.
Yeah.
And then you really got in this phase now where you're like, people sell tickets and they don't. There's people that are like, I've never even heard that person's name, and you're like, well, it's going to be a problem because they're that person's fans, and it was almost you were just like kind of the
first
test.
Yeah.
You're the test for that kind of just thrown out to the wolves to be like, oh, it went from 0 to like, we got to get people trying to get backstage, people trying to do, like a Guns N' Roses concert. And then, but no one knows how to stop that, because no one's prepared for it.
Yeah. No one's prepared for that. And just, people trying to take advantage at the same time because I'm so new, I'm a girl. And, especially with like, at the time, it would be like a sellout bonus.
Yeah.
And I had no idea how the business end of things worked. And like for those listening, like if you sell up to a certain point, then you get a bonus. And then if you sell up to the next, mark, then you get another bonus, right? You have to sell at least like, let's just say 500 tickets and you get your first bonus, right? I remember being at a comedy club and we were going through the numbers at the end and let's say it was 500 and he was like, 489, so close. Next show. 496, so close. And I'm sitting there with him going like, so close. I almost made it. Not realizing anything. Like I'm just like, following the rules. This is how it works. And then I remember being at New Faces that year and sitting with Fluffy and just talking to him about like business. Cause again, I was just starting to like, people were starting to know about me and like what I was doing on the road and stuff. And I was telling him that and he goes, so why didn't you just buy your extra tickets? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're 6 tickets away from a sellout. Just buy your 6 tickets. And I go, I could do that. And he's like, yeah. Like I learned so much just from that one conversation with someone who had been doing this for years, but I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And then I'm pissed at this manager who's clearly taking advantage of me because if that was somebody like a Fluffy coming in, they wouldn't have pulled that. They would have been like, and here's your bonus,
Yeah. Right.
And it was like things like that I had to learn after being taken advantage of, time after time being like, oh, wait. And then we got real strict. Then we had a clicker. I remember Lauren would walk around with a clicker and count people. And I would tell her after a while, I'd be like, make sure the manager sees you counting. I want him to know that we're doing this. Like, watch us, watch you is what it was. Then we started getting real like, okay, this is what I got. What'd you get?
Yeah.
And then,
Henry Cho has a story about club managers doing that. And he and another guy, and they would have the audience count off during the show.
Stop.
Wait, how? How would they do it?
I mean, I think the guy would just call out the manager. Henry said it wasn't him. I forgot who he was with. And he would like, just start right here. 1, 2. And everybody would just so right there, you could prove how many people are there.
I mean, to take the win out of a show.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take the win out of my show. It would take about 15 seconds.
Yeah. You go, all right, we'll start 1, 2, there.
What'd you get? You also had 2. Okay.
You had 2. He goes, I had 2 and I was giving you a 3. Because I was counting you.
Yeah.
Imagine being in that show where you had to shout out. Like, how was the show? I don't know, but I was 17.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be brutal. Yeah. And the thing is, too, is you're probably getting your bonuses. You're probably getting them, and they're just making up that you're not. Like, they would just... Yeah, I always heard about that stuff, too. And I heard the thing with you. I think that thing with Fluffy, like, where it's you just buy the extra tickets or you buy them out. You do... It's that kind of business sense of... And, and at the beginning, they can... I think clubs have gotten a lot better with that kind of stuff. Like it's a much better process. It was the early on clubs versus like, you were just right. That late 90s to the 2000s, it was just, again, there's no internet. There's no one can talk. No one can, there's no one like being like, yo, they're doing this, they're doing that. Now it's, from what I hope, and that the big main clubs seem like they have got it in a better situation.
Yeah,
and that's what you want. As a comic, you want to get just straight up offer to come do the club. Maybe it's $800, no flight, no whatever. Then you eventually you get bonuses if you sell out, and then you want to get to a door deal. If you're listening, that's your door deal's That's where
you want to be.
That's where you want to be. Yeah. So
But how quickly did you blow up from when you started to when you did Nail Salon? It was quick,
the
right?
Nail Salon video, I had been doing stand-up comedy for 4 months when that video came out. And that video was recorded in 2006. It came out in January of 2007, I believe. And then from January to February, there was 4 million views on that video. And this is brand new thing called YouTube. Nobody had ever heard of it.
Yeah.
And then it starts going viral. And I remember this is MySpace days.
Yeah.
So my MySpace page is blowing up. I had a cousin call me in San Jose and she was like, hey, there's this video going around at work. And my coworker sent it to me and it's you doing the nail salon joke. But they didn't send it to me because like, oh, look, here's your cousin. It was just being passed around. They didn't even know I know you. And that was like the first time that I remember being like, oh, that's weird. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then started getting messages all over MySpace like, hey, when are you coming to perform in Australia? When are you coming to the Philippines? And I'm like, what? I have 12 minutes of material that I wrote in this free joke writing class that I took at a church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you mean when am I coming to Australia? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it just started like skyrocketing. And I remember I was replying to all the messages that I got on MySpace. And these were like thousands of messages that were coming through. And I didn't know how to be a celebrity.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches you like how do you be famous, right? Yeah. And so I'm replying to every single message. And also this is a new era. Social media is brand new. We have MySpace, like that's it. And so there's no like etiquette or anything. So I'm just like replying to every single person who sent me a message. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep up. Let me copy paste. Like, thank you so much for the support. Copy paste, copy paste. Like I was just saying that to everybody. And then I remember a girl replying and being like, is this a robot? Because you already said this to me before. And I'm like, oh my God, sorry. I don't know how to be famous. Like I'm just trying to reply to everybody. And like, it was so overwhelming. And at that time I didn't have an agent. So, and I was trying to be an actor. I wasn't even trying to be a comedian. I was trying to be an actress. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'll just, do this thing for fun. And I started getting messages from network executive assistants. And they would send me a message on MySpace and be like, hey, I'm the assistant to so-and-so at CBS, at Fox, at all these networks. They would like to meet with you. They saw your nail salon video, like to meet with you. And then I would come into these meetings and they're having me cold read for pilots. And I'm like not prepared for any of this that's happening. Like I have meetings. I'm like, I had to buy a calendar. Like I didn't know what was happening and completely overwhelmed. No agent to like organize any of this. I'm just showing up green to sitting in a network executive's office and have no idea what I'm doing. And they're like, here's a script. Why don't you read that? And it's for like a CW pilot. And I'm like, okay, sure. I don't know to say anything like, oh, can I step out for a minute and like run it a couple times? Like I just like get this paper in front of the guy who says, yes, you're on a TV show for the rest of your life. And I'm like, hey, my husband, like I don't know what I'm doing, but bombing all of these meetings. I think I would have done
that still now. Like, I think I'm glad I learned that now that I could say, hey, can I step out for a second?
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah. I'm still learning from Anjelah.
So it was a whole whirlwind of like what is happening in my life. And I remember having a conversation with my sister. And keep in mind too, like this is, 2007. I had just come out of this season. Well, I wasn't even out of it when this was happening. This was the beginning of coming out of a season of no jobs, no money. I was on unemployment. My unemployment checks had run out. I had like nothing going for me, no auditions. I had been an extra. I had been a stand-in. I got like a couple commercials, but like that was it. And I was like in this super dry spell. And it was kind of like, okay, I think I have to go home because I don't have money to pay my rent. I don't have anything. My sister would send me money to pay my rent. She would send me gift certificates to the grocery store. Like family members would help out, but my sister was really the only one that was like, don't come back. Like stay, chase your dreams. Like, don't just keep trying. And so everything in my life is like, no, sorry, you tried, give it up. Then this YouTube video pops off Then this MySpace page started blowing up. Then all of a sudden I'm getting meetings, CBS, Fox. All of a sudden I get a new agent. All of a sudden I get a manager. All of a sudden all this stuff's happening for me. And then that was January. And then by February I got a new agent. And then by like March, April, I auditioned for MadTV. And then by May I booked it. And then I was like, well, I better start writing more jokes because people keep asking me, when am I coming to perform there? So then I start writing as much material as I possibly can. So by the end of the summer, I'm now touring as a headliner. And now when I started headlining, there was like 8 comics on the lineup because I didn't have enough time to fill it up. So there'd be like 8 comics. And then it would dwindle down to now it's only 6. And now it's only like, hey, there's 3. And then it got to just a host, a feature, and me, because I had written at least 45 minutes that I could do. And so by the end of the year, my life had completely changed from January 2007, where I had nothing going for me, but all of a sudden this YouTube video just pops off, to the end of the year where I'm on MadTV, I'm touring as a headliner, and my life had completely changed.
Wow.
It's a crazy year.
Yeah, it's a crazy year. And and you when first went out too, you would just be the middle act, but you would sell so many tickets.
Yeah.
Like, which is, I mean, you got really stuck in a situation that's a very rare situation to be in, where you don't have the time yet. But so they'd have to book her as the middle act. And then, I mean, the headliner's got to go follow you, as these people are here just to see you.
I know.
Yeah.
I middled 3 times.
Yeah.
My whole career.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that's probably, they weren't going to allow it anymore.
Tom Rhodes was the first person that I opened for, and God bless him. He was such a gentleman, so helpful, like was not prideful in the least bit.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, but they sent me to go do radio with him. And I didn't know that that's like the headliner does radio, not the opener.
Yeah.
And all I know is like, I wake up early, they pick me up at the hotel, and then he's probably like, what's this girl doing with me? You know what I mean? But here we are both on radio, and they're wanting to talk to me. And I don't realize how insulting it is to a headliner. I'm just like, I'm doing what I was told to do. This is my first time opening for anyone. Like the comedy club manager told me to do this. So here I am. So that was him first. And he was so just lovely and kind and generous. And I love him till this day, Tom Rhodes. And then my second time was Al Madrigal. And that was at the Brea Improv. And love Al. And my last time was Steve Trevino in Houston. And that was the last time that I featured for anybody because I was selling tickets. So it was like, well, let's just give her own weekend then. And that's how that started.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You hate me even more now?
No.
No.
I love it.
It was great.
Yeah.
It just nothing like this ever happened.
No.
And so it just, but you always did very good with it because you always wrote and you would have to go up. And that's what I always would say about you is like, you're having to go produce all this stuff and you're having to learn all this at the highest level, just as you're going. And it's very, very hard to do that. It's very hard to learn comedy takes a long time to kind of get into a groove and figure it out. And you were just having to like, just pump it out. And that's,
Yeah. I mean, when I first met you, that's when all that stuff was popping off. And I mean, so many YouTube stars, they hit for a while and then they just can't maintain it.
Right.
But you've put out so many specials and I still travel with you and you still sell out everywhere. So
grateful that people still want to hear from me.
Well, because you still put out new material.
Yeah, because to keep it going is really on paper, your career should not have been what it was.
I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. His career on paper is probably a little. His career is only on paper. So, yeah. But it's for typical blowing up that quick of a thing.
Right.
You shouldn't have. Most won't be able because they can't handle. To keep writing, to keep doing that stuff's exhausting. It's hard. You got to stay on the road. That's not easy. And you went through it and you kept doing all that stuff. And that's why it's sustained. This is the thing that I always talk about here. If you have an act, you always had an act. And so even when people come see you, they're actually seeing something. And then they'd come see you next time they'd see something. It's not it's not just built on nothing. There's an actual thing, and that's why you're here where you're at now, and not kind of just like, you could be so far removed from comedy because you could have been like, well, I can't keep up with this. Comedy's hard. It's hard to write an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have you middled? Your hair up like that? Because you got your thing too tight on your.
What are you talking about? I like it like that. All right.
I did that on purpose.
Don't worry about it.
I know, but when I just turned to look at you and just seeing that hair and going like, how many times have you middled? You're like,
It made it go up more.
Yeah, it looks like.
Your hair spoke for itself.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's like your hair had its hand up going, I'll tell you. Yeah.
A lot's the answer.
Yeah, I've middled a lot.
I'm honored to middle for both of you.
Oh,
Thank you.
What about me?
Yeah, same here. I'm honored to middle for anybody who will have me. These guys, I don't care. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I will do
We're
it.
all middles. You're always you're basically a middle always. Anyway.
Yeah. You want to tell us about HelloFresh?
HelloFresh. Yeah, we eat it all the time. Hello, folks, to HelloFresh. HelloFresh gets free, fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered. We eat HelloFresh all the time. It's, Laura does it. She makes it all. We've used it, 8 years probably. I mean, we ate it 2 nights ago. Like, it's a very easy thing to do.
I need to do it. I don't.
HelloFresh is great.
Yeah.
Laura makes, she does the stuff. It's a very good, easy dinner. It looks like you look like a real family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You're sure.
Like that's what you don't just look like.
A Norman Rockwell painting.
Yeah, like a bunch of lunatics
totally.
on a TV tray where you're just eating, cereal off a plate, and you're just, you look like a normal family. That's what HelloFresh does. Makes you feel normal. Go to HelloFresh.com/NatelandFree and use code NatelandFree for free breakfast for life. Free breakfast. I know, it's crazy. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/NatelandFree with code NatelandFree. America's #1 meal kit. Meal. I don't say the word right.
Meal.
Meal.
You say
With
meal?
an L.
I go meal.
M-I-L-L. Meal.
Yeah, meal kit. Yeah.
Meal.
Meal. That's how
Well,
you're
now I
supposed to
don't
say
know if
it?
I'm saying it right.
Yeah. There you go. Let's start with you guys' comments. Kevin Mitchell. The comments read each week clarify so much about the previous episode that I have now started listening to the comments first, then playing the previous episode. So
Smart.
undoubtedly, one of the gang has given out wrong information or clarifies the story they told, and it helps me keep up with the wild twists and turns of the actual episode. Some people may think it spoils. Would you say it
I
like
like
that?
spoils.
Spoils. I have a joke about this, Mac.
Okay.
About saying this. Some people may think it spoils the episode by having some advanced knowledge, but for me, it's like reading a book before going to see the movie.
Oh, that's fun.
That's an adventure for Kevin.
Yeah. Kevin Mitchell. Is that his name from Home Alone?
Yeah.
Also a baseball player.
Is Kevin Mitchell Home Alone?
Yeah.
Kevin.
Kevin's definitely
That's
the name.
Macaulay Culkin, isn't
It's not
it?
Mitchell, is it?
Yeah. I'm saying really excitedly, but I have no.
McAllister.
Same thing.
Kevin McAllister.
Who's Mitchell then?
Same thing.
Kevin, I think you're thinking of
Play for the Mets.
the San Francisco Giants.
That's what you were
I
thinking,
wouldn't know
Anjelah.
any.
You were thinking that. Come on.
How did you know him? You remember him?
Yeah, he played for the '86 Mets, and that was my team.
Yeah. Just started working at Channel 5. Graduated college 4 years ago.
He was
4 years before.
He was in.
He played with Oil Can Boyd. Remember him?
I do. He was in left field one time, and somebody hit a ball down the left field line, and he caught it with his bare hand.
No way.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow. Maybe that's like this Kevin Mitchell.
I bet it's him.
I bet it's him.
Yep.
Teresa Kelly. My husband and I drove from Vancouver, Canada to Seattle for Nate's show at the Paramount. We had a great time. However, we almost pulled an errand and told the guy next to us, enough. He got up 4 times in the show to go get more drinks. In your opinion, what is an acceptable amount of time to make a whole row of people stand up so you can get drinks? That's
4 is a lot.
4 is a lot. Now, if that guy wrote in, I would tell him he's okay. But no, 4 is it's 4 is, if you're dead middle.
I think so much of this
one.
depends on how if he's apologetic I'll forgive anybody if they go, sorry, dude, one more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like that guy was this way.
4 times?
I don't think anybody would get up 4 times.
I think after the 3rd time, you go, why don't we all scoot down one and you just chill in the aisle?
Yeah.
You know?
But then you got to move a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
The hard thing with stand-up is it's an hour and a half, roughly, 2 hours, but and you're just going. It's not like a band, you're like, get up and go. But comedy's a little more.
But 4 times.
No, I know. No. I mean, it's a lot of times. It's too many times. 4 is a lot of times.
Have y'all ever done shows, either of you, in other countries where they have an intermission? That's the standard in a lot of other countries.
Really?
To have an intermission in the middle of a stand-up show. Yeah. I wonder if that cracks down on that kind of stuff. Having somebody get up 4 times.
I've thought about it, like doing it.
You want to add one in?
Yeah, just to, be like after the, do it after, the openers, be like, all right, 5 minutes. Here's, and not a long one. Like if you did 5 minutes to be like, y'all can run to the bathroom or like.
I vaguely remember negotiating intermission out of a contract before. Like it's vaguely sounding familiar. Like what? No, I'm not doing an intermission. Like they just warmed up the crowd. Right. Now I got to warm them up again.
Right.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. That's the thing. Comedy's not really. It's not really like that.
I've done venues, they want it because they want people to go buy more
stuff.
Doubles, concession sales.
Yeah, that doesn't help my show.
The only show I've ever done it, I did it one time. Kevin Nealon, he had an intermission.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
John's tour, there's an intermission right before him.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah,
the whole tour?
Like 15 minutes, yeah.
And does everybody get up and go?
Yeah, and then he would open it back up with a video that they hadn't seen, and that would get people back in the room.
Yeah.
And then he would
It's
come
a funny video, like they're laughing and stuff?
Yeah, they...
People would argue if it's funny or not. No, I'm joking. John's been on. John's on our podcast. He's been on it. So.
Yeah.
Really? He does an intermission?
I don't know if he's still doing it, but for a while there, the churches and the theaters, and it was like a 15-minute intermission.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, you know what I started doing this past weekend? We played the George Washington sketch, the SNL sketch, and it's a 5-minute sketch, and we play it before. We just tried it this weekend and play it 5 minutes before we start the show. So amazing. It's like cool. It's just
good idea.
Yeah, it's just a nice all right, have this thing on. It gets people to be like, hey, I bet the show's about to start. Let's get it going.
My brother was just talking about that. I told him I was coming here. I was talking to him on the phone on the way here, and he started talking about that sketch.
Oh yeah,
so good, so good.
Tell your brother hello. I know all the Johnsons. Where was it? Hillary, right?
Hillary Nichols.
Yeah.
Hillary Nicholson. Got a question for Aaron.
Hey.
I've discovered the podcast Somebody Stop Me.
Oh, boy.
I just listened to the episode when you lost your keys at Office Depot. Just curious, have you been back? Any regrets in not signing up for the rewards program?
No, man. I'm sorry you had to listen to that. That was my podcast before I met you.
Wait, that was your
That's like your ex-girlfriend?
Kind of, yeah. Lasted 6 episodes.
That was you podcast?
Oh, it was brutal.
It's still out there.
Yeah, that was when I was in Jacksonville. I had an awkward interaction with a guy at the counter, and then I went to my car and I'd forgotten my keys.
Oh.
I had to go back and talk to the guy.
No.
Yeah. It reminded me of, I was telling them yesterday, I had a bad corporate gig yesterday.
Oh.
And I beelined it to my car after the set. I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Uh-huh.
And then I got in my car and they call me and go, you forgot to get a check. So I go, I'm not going back in there.
So you did it for free?
I said, well, they're going to mail it to me.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. But I go, I'm not going back in the room.
Yeah.
After I sprinted out of there. I don't want to look at anybody in the eyes.
Yeah.
Hey, encore! I'm back.
This guy
One
again.
time, Aaron Weber.
Oh, golly. Yeah.
Somebody stopped me. Somebody did.
I got stopped.
Was
a
that the end
bunch.
of it? You did 6 episodes and then that was it?
Yeah, about 6.
So was it just this Office Depot story? You just stretched it out for an hour?
It was like my act at the time. Yeah.
This guy doesn't really venture off into 30 minutes in. He's still in Office Depot.
I don't get out much.
He doesn't get out.
I listened to one episode. That was the one I listened to.
Was it really? Yeah.
Aaron has such a great voice. I mean, he kind of sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The illusion of confidence.
What was the idea of the name Somebody Stop Me?
Because I used to go, ugh, somebody stop me. I used to say that.
Where?
You came up with that?
At like
Yeah.
at like open mics and stuff, I would say that. I would never do that in like a real show.
Yeah.
But, you know,
These little bumper stickers.
you know, an
Yeah.
open mic where it's just comics. You're
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to say something fun to get them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
yeah.
It's all the stuff you come up with.
We were just throwing stuff at the wall, man.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
fun. It's a creative world. Becky Waller, unlike Dusty, who's apparently has his own. He has 12 of his own podcasts. Dusty has his own podcast. Dusty's got his whole world.
Yeah.
That I don't know if we all even know really what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we certainly don't know everything. Or
Yeah.
I don't want to know, but I do listen to his podcast because some of his best stories that I bring up on here come from that.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's an interesting guy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Double dipping stories.
Yeah. Becky Waller. I was listening to a comics podcast this week, and he said that during a recent show, he did 10 to 15 minutes of his act and riffed an hour and 15 minutes. He said that what he'd done is called avoiding your act. He said when you have a bunch of gigs in a row, you can't be doing your act every night or you're going to burn it out and you're going to want to kill yourself. Well, that's all a lie.
What?
I'm glad there's no name. I don't know who this is.
Was
but-
that you, Brian? Did you do that? You
No,
riffed for an
I-
hour
I-
15?
she never said his name. She said it was I took that part out, very famous comics podcast. So I don't know who it
No.
was.
He did. He did 10 to 15 minutes of his act and then riffed an hour and 15 minutes.
That sounds like
I
not a
did
good
maybe the
show.
opposite.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever riffed 10 to 15 minutes. It's it's not avoiding your act is if you
I've never heard that term ever.
yeah
Mm-mm,
when you
me
do
neither.
like it's crazy when you have a bunch of gigs in a row you can't be doing your act every night you're gonna burn out. That's insane. I have the most gigs in a row. How you make it great is you have
Yeah.
those gigs in a row. When you go work out, that's like the idea of like if you did a work exercise and you're like, yeah, you can't work out your muscles too much because
That's
you're
wild.
yeah, it's this is you know.
Yeah, that's how you get great.
Look,
And
I
then-
can tell you when you say the same jokes over and over again, you got to learn how to say that. That's something you're
Uh-huh.
learning. You're always learning something. You got to learn how to sit there a little bit. Like now I'm trying to learn how to sit on stage and not be, kind of just like, I don't know, just there's like, I'm trying to give myself a little more of a beat than I ever have.
Yep.
And I'm doing that. I'm learning that now.
Yeah. That's what speaking of giving yourself a beat, I remember I would always watch Nate and I would be so envious and also nervous because he would sit in those silent moments and I'm like, I can't breathe for you. And then he just keeps going, like didn't even like phase and I'd be like, oh my God, how do you sit in that silence?
Yeah, there was a
for-
bunch of them, weren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
remember.
good at it when
Holy
you're,
cow.
yeah.
This guy had a laugh
Like
in
you
a half
take
hour.
a purposeful beat and I'm like, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Naturally, I'm just talking slower. I think that's how, like, being from the South, you just,
Maybe that's
everything's a little more of a drag. In my head, I don't think I'm taking this big beat. But, I would think I could talk too quick. And no one's ever said I talk too quick.
No.
But in my head, I could feel like I'm talking too quick. But I think the one like natural benefit of just being from the South is just, I honestly think it helps your timing because you're just, you're just got a more of a storytelling, like just whatever it is, you just naturally do that. But I can tell you, Becky, this person's that's insane.
Is there a joke in your act right now that you get so excited, like you can't wait for this bit? Like, okay, this is the one right now.
Where, because I always have it. Right now, I'm very excited about everything, which is good. That's the whole goal. Because I understand what this person's like saying. When you you get tired of your act, you want to get tired of your act because you want to get into the stuff that you can't wait to say. And so the stuff that you can't wait to say because you know it's going to destroy. Now I'm excited because I can't wait to entertain these people. So I'll be like, you'll be getting laughs and you're like, man, I can't wait to get to this part because these people are going to lose. It's like making your parents laugh where you're just so happy and excited and you're like, it's making your friend laugh and that's how I feel when I'm on stage. You're like, oh, I can't. If you're laughing this hard at this one, wait till I get to this.
They don't even know what I have.
They don't even. I mean, that's the funnest thing in the world. If a guy riffed an hour and 15 minutes, he did an hour and a half. Ugh. I mean, it can't be good. You can't. No one's. I'm telling you, I think I know the ones that do it. The only one, Ian Bagg, is great at crowd work and great at doing it as a full show. He's very, very, but he's done it for years. Steve Byrne is, Steve Byrne's really good at it because he mixes in. There's no down with them.
Right. Yeah.
It keeps going. It keeps, and then Steve has got jokes. And then, so it's, a lot of New York comics were really good at crowd work. Joey McCullough, who comes out with me, like he was like, a lot of New York guys are really Big J is one of the best ever. They're great at crowd work because they've done it for so long. But the new, you're just not riffing an hour and 15 minutes.
That's so much time.
It's so hard,
so long.
man. It's so. I mean, look, if you're really, this might be. Then that's maybe the greatest comic that's ever lived. If it's working, I'm talking about working.
Yeah.
One thing to go talk for an hour and 15 minutes, but I'm saying it being a good show. There's just no way. There's no way. You're just, all right. Melissa Sedlak. My husband and I got engaged and married in 2004. When my husband called his dad on his cell phone to share the exciting news, his dad said, "That's great. Do me a favor and call back after 9 p.m." Because the minutes.
Yeah, I think that's been a few episodes ago where we were talking about cell phones and how it used to be there's certain times with roaming and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Free nights and weekends.
Yeah,
used
free
to
nights
be
and
a
weekends.
big
That's right.
thing
That's right.
in the commercials. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever deal with that?
Not by the time I had my own cell phone. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Junior in high school when I first got one, and it's
free for all.
Yeah, by that point.
You would have to, I remember paying for text.
5 cents or whatever.
Yeah, and it was like, you just really couldn't.
Well, that Nail Salon video that went viral on YouTube was originally intended to be a comedy clip for Verizon Wireless cell phones where you could download comedy for $1.99. They were going to charge people $1.99 to download that comedy clip onto their flip phone.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Wait, that's why you taped that night?
Yes, that's what it was for.
Because it was like that comedy. It was like whatever that channel was.
Yeah.
And
then YouTube came out. Yeah. They're like, well, we can't charge people now that this thing's doing it for free. So they just uploaded all those videos to YouTube.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's crazy.
Does your daughter have a phone?
Just no cell phone. I mean, she has a phone, but it's Wi-Fi
like the emergency.
Only. It's Wi-Fi only.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, it's not hooked up to. She can't use it, but I mean, she has a phone. She can take pictures and whatever. But if she's got to be on Wi-Fi to do.
How old is she gonna be when you allow her to actually have a phone?
I don't know. I mean, I'm different than Laura. That's just I would be probably more fine with it now, just because it's like she's 11. You're like, you just whatever reason. She's probably gonna get a watch. Yeah, she won't hear this, but I think for or she would have. Oh yeah, this won't be bad. She would have for Christmas. She would have got a watch. That would have been a cellular. So it's like there is a way, and then she would have a cell phone too.
That's good.
But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. My nephew has a watch like that, and he
Yeah.
can call or text people from the watch only 3 numbers.
Yes.
So it's like his mom, his dad, and then my mom.
Yeah. It's to do that. How old is he now?
10.
10. Yeah. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Birdsong.
Oh, what
So
a
the only
name.
thing I know, so Birdsong, there's a Carol the Birdsong.
I know Carol Birdsong.
You do?
Yeah, because I used to work with her in the media.
Oh, you know her for real?
Yeah.
She does all the announcements for.
She's like famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the communications director at Williamson County Schools.
I am. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because everybody in Williamson County who has a kid in school knows her because they get calls from her, right?
Yeah.
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 She's been doing it for a long time.
And you personally know her.
From my TV news days, yeah.
Yeah.
Because when if school is out or whatever, or anything going on Williamson County schools, that's who we'd have to talk
Yeah.
to.
Oh yeah. Harper. Yeah, everybody knows.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's
crazy.
Drew Birdsong. Aaron started comedy at 23. That's considerably soon after dropping $150K on higher education. How long did he consider getting on stage before this? And can we have some context leading up to his first few open mics?
I did it in college. We had a student group at school where we
Mhm.
did a few shows for students. So by the time I graduated, I had done stand up like 5 or 6 times. And I don't know. I wasn't thinking too much about it. I was just working and just wanted to do it.
Was your group called Somebody Stop Me?
Notre Dame Student Stand Ups. That's what it was. Yeah,
Whoa.
pretty good name.
The NDSS, yeah.
Do you think it's going to work out?
We'll see. I'll let you know when I'm finished paying back Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You're very popular in these comments.
This is a unique episode. Yeah, I'll say it.
It's Aaron Heavy.
Mhm.
You laughed at that.
I know.
That wasn't me. That
You knew what
was-
you were doing.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just said you laughed at it on your own.
Uh-huh.
I think that's on
Yeah.
that ain't nothing to do with me. I didn't. Casey Nelson.
Yep.
Pin and pin is something I've always pronounced the same until I made a friend that grew up in California. She had to set me straight, and now I try to pronounce the E. Pin.
How do you say it, Angela?
What?
How do you say that?
Pen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and say the second one.
Pin.
Pen.
Eh.
E. Pen. Pen.
You,
Father. Is that how you would give?
You-
Father, give me a pen. That's how you would write your letters.
you added an H in there. Pen.
Pen. That's what I'm picturing you going down to your family. Pen. Can I get my pen, Father?
But you wouldn't call it Penn State University, would
Penn
you?
State.
Penn, yeah.
Pen.
Penn.
It's the same. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm saying it. Pen.
But how do you?
There's a
What do you
little
call
bit.
this?
Pen.
Yeah, that's what I call it. We say it the same way.
Pin.
Yeah. How do you say PNGUIN?
P.
Hold
N.
on. Yeah, you spelled that really fast.
G.
PEN.
Penguin?
Yeah.
Penguin.
Okay.
Okay.
How do you say it, Aaron?
Penguin.
He says
Pang.
penguin. Penguin.
Oh, P-A-N-G.
Yeah,
Penguin.
penguin.
Yeah.
Penguin.
Wow.
Does she say it right?
Yeah, I'll give her a pass.
Penguin.
Okay.
It's penguin where Aaron comes from. Because of the pain. Can I have that pain? I'm gonna write a letter on this pine.
Pencil.
Pencil. Kevin Robleski. Robleski. Hey, Bear. I don't know if this has ever been talked about, but when Big Breakfast disagrees with something, he always puts out a gets ignored and the pod moves on. Makes me laugh every time. Thanks for crushing it. Goodbye, folks.
Yeah, yeah, there it is.
That is the
Yeah.
little passive aggressive.
Well,
That's
I
sound
guess
of
I'm saying it
defeat is what it is.
Yeah, well, that's definitely that. Maybe what sound do you think? Because would have an H in the front of it. What do you think that is?
I think he's saying what you just said.
Oh, so he just misspelled it.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, that is
You
a weird way.
misspelled that sound.
That's
That's a
on you,
weird way to
Kevin.
spell that noise for sure.
That's
I think I read it.
Mm.
I think I'm
You
fine
did a
with
great
it.
job with it.
Because
But
that's how I read it.
he
I think
spelled it M-M-M-M-M-H.
How are you supposed to spell it?
Maybe humph.
With P
H
H?
first.
No.
H-M-P-H, yeah.
Hmm.
Or
I think I got it. So
Well, Kevin, I think you're stupid. So how about that? Now let's move on.
Goodbye, folks.
he says he likes it.
Well, I don't
He's
like
being-
him, so let's move on. How about that?
Well, Bates Robleski family getting there, like, oh boy, we're
High
Goodbye,
T Bates
folks.
over here.
They're gonna have to meet at the fence. You're on my property. I think Jay used to have a joke about the property. Have we talked about I just love it's a very southern thing.
To talk about your
Just
property.
to talk about your property. You better get off my property right now.
Or somebody in Manhattan would never be like, get out of my property. Right?
No.
Yeah.
No, but it's the best because it's just like it's my property. I mean, it's people like their property.
Mm-hmm.
Property is a funny word. Mike Valier. I told my wife that if she is ever getting fast food and doesn't know what I want, to just get me the number one. So far, I haven't been disappointed, regardless of where she gets it from. Do you think you would be satisfied with the number one from any fast food place? Yeah,
I think so.
Oh no, I'm very picky.
Fast food.
Yeah, I have something specific from like pretty much every fast food place.
What's your McDonald's?
Oh, see, there's the thing is I don't really like McDonald's, but chicken nuggets. That's the only thing I eat from McDonald's.
Oh,
What's the
boy.
matter with you?
Chicken nuggets. That's
You're better
it with
than
hot
this.
mustard.
You're better than that, Angela. You're better. Hot mustard's amazing.
Hot mustard.
People don't know about hot mustard.
No, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I like hot mustard. It's all chemically and whatnot. I love it.
Oh yeah, hot mustard is. I remember when I found out about hot mustard. When my sister used to work at McDonald's, I
Yeah.
go get some hot mustard.
Yeah, bring it home.
Mhm.
It was a big day. I was like, she brought home extra, like it's like just try to get steal some hot mustard.
I mean, is the number one the most popular thing on every menu then?
I don't know if it's the most popular, but I think it's got to be the signature item, right?
Right,
Like the
if it's
number
number
one at
one.
McDonald's is a Big Mac.
Wow, I've never thought about this before. Like the number one on
Yeah.
fast food menus
Yeah.
is probably the most popular thing.
I don't know if I even use numbers anywhere else. Where does you use numbers?
Oh, any fast food place is gonna
Any extra value?
the meals are gonna be numbered.
Arby's, but I feel like I go to
Yeah.
Arby's. I say I want the beef and cheddar. I say the name of the sandwich.
Uh-huh.
But they
Yeah.
are numbered here on the menu. The beef and cheddar would be the number one.
Maybe I don't do
there
that.
you go.
Maybe I don't do that out of
Just
respect for McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
think the number one. Yeah, I think you go.
Does Tennessee have Jack in the Box?
Oh yeah,
We do, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen a Jack in the Box.
I'll show you one.
Okay, thank you.
I'll show you. How many do you want to see? Here you go.
I love their tacos.
Let's show you the
Yeah.
shortcuts.
Let me know. Yeah, you want a dicey one? You want a little
Yeah.
nicer one?
Mm.
I don't know. If there's Jack in the Box over here.
There's somewhere I live.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
somewhere
Oh,
in
yeah.
Hermitage, and
Uh-huh.
Old Acre. There's some. Yeah. What's your favorite fast food?
I love Chick-fil-A. I love
Chick-fil-A.
Jack in the Box, 2 tacos, curly fries. I love
Yeah.
In-N-Out. Do you guys? There's no In-N-Out here.
No, aren't they
No.
bringing one?
They're
or
bringing
something?
them.
Mhm.
I remember the governor made an
Five Guys. I
announcement.
love Five Guys. too.
Five Guys is great.
Mhm.
Yeah. But in fact, there's no drive-through with Five Guys.
That's a problem.
Man, I saw a drive-through at a Subway. I saw a Subway with a drive-through.
One across from
Yeah.
Zany's has a
Yeah.
Nice.
drive-through.
That's true. I
Yeah,
never
it
thought
does.
about. That is true. That seems like a. Have you been through it?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. I go to that Burger King by Zany's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
do like
sneak
some
over
Burger
there.
King.
Yeah, I get 2 Whopper Juniors.
Burger King smells good.
Yeah.
Like you can smell the flame broiledness.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
The fries are not good. Emma, I'm an 8th grade fan of the Nateland podcast. Thank you, Emma. On my first day of school this year, as class was starting, we were all talking very loudly. All of a sudden, my teacher yelled out, "Hello, folks!" In the middle of all the noise, everyone ignored him, but I yelled back, "Hey, Bear!" It was at that moment that he realized that he had the coolest 8th grader in the world in his
Aw.
class, and I realized that I was going to get an A. That's awesome.
That's great.
It is awesome.
That's
This is
awesome.
a very clever comment. I'm almost like, did your mom write this or your dad or something? Because this is very well written
It's
and
Emma.
it has like good timing in it and had a really good ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what Emma does.
This is
Emma brings it.
Right.
I like Emma.
Yeah.
Emma should intern for your podcast.
Emma's the smartest person we know. I mean, that's,
Emma dumbed this down so Nate could read it.
yeah. Yeah, she had it typed down, and then she gave it to her dog to,
Yeah.
and he goes, "All right, for Nate," and his dog she let her dog walk over the things, and then so I could read it because I read that one pretty good.
Yeah.
So Emma knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. JT Fulton. About a year ago, I showed my girlfriend's. Hold on. I guess sometimes I get started too quick.
That's what it is. You got to
I
hit
just
yourself.
whoosh.
Mm-hmm.
I had running down the road and
Back it up.
slow it down. About a year ago. All
Emma,
right.
come through.
Emma, could you read this JT Fulton one? About a year ago, I showed my girlfriend Nate's first special. She wasn't a stand-up comedy fan, but knew I am religious about the art form and its history. Fast forward to us eloping 3 weeks ago and yelling, "Hey, Bear," as we signed our marriage
Wow.
certificate. We watch the podcast every Wednesday night together once we get in bed. Thanks for all the laughs. Something me and my beautiful wife now share together.
Aw.
Very nice. Congratulations. Hey, Bear, to you guys. That's awesome. That's very
That's
sweet.
great.
These are all some nice,
The
there's
Fultons.
some good,
Mm-hmm.
been some nice
It's a
ones
wholesome episode so far,
Yeah.
Brian.
Well, it's a new year, new me.
When's the ball going to drop? I feel it coming at some point.
For your newer fans, can you explain the Hey Bear thing?
No.
there.
I wish we could.
Yeah, it was you
I
yell.
don't remember it.
You yell, "Hey, Bear."
Yeah, right. Okay.
You yell, "Hey, Bear," when you go hiking.
So
So like you know,
Or
when you-
grizzly bears.
for
might
grizzly
be.
bears, you go, "Hey, Bear, hey, Bear."
Oh, that's here. That's like a Tennessee thing.
No, that's it's really California. If you go because with animal like
That's if you see a
hiking.
bear?
No, if you ever go hiking,
Like at Yosemite or
Yosemite
Uh-huh.
or any of these things, you say you could do it in Smoky Mountains. If there's bears, when you walk, you just go, "Hey, Bear, hey, Bear." You just say that a bunch.
So
So
other
if-
people hear it.
No,
So
for the bear.
Oh.
so you don't surprise them.
So he
Mm.
knows there's a
You
human.
want to announce your
coming.
presence
Yeah.
to the bear.
Announce your presence. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if we're like alerting the other hikers, being like, "There's a bear up ahead."
Hey, Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was that.
No, I think you would say more like, "Hey, there's a bear up ahead."
Uh-huh.
Hey, bear.
Hey, Bear,
Yeah.
and they go, "What?" You go, "It's behind you. It's already behind you." They go, "Yeah." If you go hiking, you should yell, "Hey, Bear."
Okay.
That's really what people yell, and it just kind of spiraled, and now here we are. But
I
You
like
know.
it.
yeah, it's fun. Jeff Metters, could y'all settle a social etiquette? Is that how you say it?
Mhm.
All right. Situation for me: when getting food at a single line buffets,
Mm.
do you have to wait in line and start at the front? Wait, when getting food at a single line buffet, do you have to wait in line and start at the front, or can you jump in at an empty spot, a spot that wouldn't disrupt anyone, and grab your items and go? What's the social protocol for this? And has the environment changed like a funeral versus a wedding?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Wow.
Well, yeah. How many buffets, funerals are you going to?
I've been to.
Oh, you can
been
eat.
To, you've been to a buffet funeral?
I think so. Yeah.
Right next to right. What do you do? Like
It's not
it's
right
a-
next to the
You
cat.
think the body is at the front
not
or the end of it?
Not in
Where's the
church.
body, Aaron? Where's the body? You put it. You think the body's just behind it? Is that an easier way to put it?
Well, there is a science to how the food's laid out in the buffet, right? This used to be my job. But when I came home from school,
Mm.
I worked at Bluegrass Country Club here in
Oh, yes.
Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I was the official buffet guy. I ran the buffet table,
Yeah.
and I know the
He would
science
eat
of it.
people's
What is
fries.
the science? I need
Yeah.
to know.
The science is, well, you want to put your cheapest food at the beginning, and then the proteins and the more expensive food at the end.
Uh-huh.
The idea being they fill up more of the plates with the cheap stuff,
And they don't got no room.
and there's only a little bit of room left for the more
Mm.
expensive
Hmm.
things at
But
the end.
you're buying according to that.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you already bought that meat and it's cooked for the protein at the end.
Right, but there's going to be less. If the steak was right at the beginning
Yeah,
of the
Uh-huh.
buffet,
Everybody's getting a steak.
right.
Yeah.
If it's only at the end, you're going to go through less steak. than you would.
But I mean, but the steak is the featured player of the buffet.
I agree, but if you put that salad first, everybody's going to feel the need to put a little bit of salad on there.
Right.
Just to look good.
That takes up a fourth of the plate.
So people don't judge them when they walk away.
Totally. Totally.
I know, but a steak, and you're saying the steak should be cut in pieces.
No.
You're not going to have a 9-ounce steak. I mean, if you're grabbing a 9-ounce steak, you're grabbing a 9-ounce steak.
Well, in a buffet, a steak is going to probably, more than likely, it's
Sliced.
going to be sliced like that. Yeah, or roast beef or something where you can
Do
just
you go to
grab.
buffets very often?
Yeah.
I feel like you need to.
Oh, I love buffets.
Have you ever done Adele's buffet downtown?
Oh.
I don't know.
Their weekend
I have.
brunch buffet?
I think so.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I love a buffet.
Adele, the singer?
No. Just Adele's.
It's in the
the
Gulch.
restaurant downtown.
Yeah.
It's near that McDonald's on Broadway, if that
Yes.
helps.
Oh,
Yes.
this place looks nice.
It's so good.
It does help me. I know exactly where it's
Their
at. now.
brunch buffet. Bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big buffet fan. I think at a funeral.
I don't think the environment change. I don't think the what the event is changes the etiquette at all.
But what about jumping in?
I think here's my thinking. Okay, you do have a responsibility to move quickly through the buffet.
Mhm.
So just everyone be aware of that. You see
Mhm.
people and they meander and they
Mhm.
lollygag. They need to move through it.
Mhm.
Okay. That being said, I think it's rude to hop somebody that
Mhm.
you don't know. If you go up with your wife, if you go up with a friend and you're both in line, then you can kind of hop amongst each
Yeah.
other. But I would never hop in front of a stranger on a buffet line. You know what I mean?
Here's my only time that you would.
What's that?
Okay.
If there's a big enough distance. So if you have so far of a head start, if that person's at grabbing their silverware and you're more towards the back, like 3 things,
Mhm.
I think you could jump there because they would never be in. You'll never be in the way.
So you're already
yeah.
in the line. You're already at the food, but you know you don't want these next 5 things, so you jump over it. Like
I'd
that.
agree with that.
Yeah, but you got to be far enough ahead that the
Mhm.
person probably won't even notice.
At least the halfway point.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd still think you need to say something to that person that you're cutting. You don't have to say something, but just make a noise or something. Just go.
Yep.
You're just gonna.
you go.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
You just go. Something like
and
that.
They go,
And they go, yeah, I don't know. It'd feel
and they
weird.
go,
Just
figures.
Like an
Yeah.
unfinished sentence. Like
Because
I'm just
yeah.
gonna, I'm just
totally. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Perfect.
Just gonna. Don't mind if I do. Make a joke
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you're still going to have to go get your plate and silverware at the front of the line.
right
You know
Right.
what's up.
now.
Like that.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the initial wave of the buffet. That's when there's a huge line snaked
I don't think you
around,
cut
right?
it in the initial
Now,
way.
now later when people are going back for seconds and thirds or whatever, right? Then it's kind of
You want
I
your
think you-
one item.
I think you walk right up to what you want. Then I think you abandon the concept of a line.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, I'm just gonna go.
Well,
get
but
a
if they're-
little more
yeah.
mashed potatoes, just
Mhm.
one more scoop.
Yeah.
You take your same plate?
No, you're not supposed to do that.
No. Health regulate. They want you to use a separate plate.
So you still got to go back, get up front.
Yeah, but then you grab it.
That's
and
probably
yeah,
true. That's true.
Yeah. So when you do that, you don't want
That's
to
a
be
good
skipping
point, Brian.
people.
I'm
That's what I
sorry.
do. I bring
I
good points.
assumed it was not going to be a good point, and it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to skip.
I'm just walking you through my thought process just
Mm.
now.
I like a
Okay.
buffet, man.
We had an expert in this topic. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I put it
yeah.
in.
I
It's a Aaron heavy.
Did Jeff
Comment
know
group,
yeah.
that he was asking the question to an expert? Like, is that something?
Oh,
you
I think
talked
he
about?
did.
think so.
Yeah, I think Jeff watches the podcast.
I changed the word y'all. It was Aaron.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, you didn't hear what I said.
Yeah. You said, yeah, I heard what you said.
Yeah.
Oh.
I heard.
You should have got more than it.
Well, I also had a funny line myself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
guys,
that
guys,
Angela was
there you
laughing
go.
at.
you're both doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
There you go.
Mm. Yeah.
The Robleskis. What are we talking about?
Well, why don't you tell Anjelah, because I think she'd be excited to hear about Rocket Money.
Oh my gosh, I've been waiting the whole episode to talk about Rocket Money. It's our favorite partner here. Rocket Money is if I asked you, let me ask you a question, Brian. If I asked you how many subscriptions you have, would you be able to list all of them and how much you're paying?
No.
Of course not. If you would have asked me this question before I started using Rocket Money, I would have said, yeah, but let me tell you, I would have been so wrong. I can't believe how many I had and all the money I was wasting. I sign up for stuff all the time and I tell myself next week I'll cancel it. I'll put it on my calendar, cancel this, and I just ignore it. I forget it.
Mhm.
I'm paying hundreds. Not anymore. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills. I can see all my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't
No
want,
way.
cancel it with a tap.
Oh.
I never have to get on the phone with customer service. They do all the legwork for you. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. What are you waiting for? Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Nate. That's rocketmoney.com/Nate. One more time, rocketmoney.com/Nate.
I signed up for Prime to watch Anjelah and Candy Cane Lane. And then immediately I was going to watch Nate's special. I was like, nope, Rocket Money. Drop it.
Cut it off.
Cut it off. Yeah.
Cut it off.
That's pretty cool.
But Anjelah is in a new movie with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, my
yes.
Yeah,
gosh.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you get to hang out with him?
No.
Oh.
No.
But you were telling me a story about how when the directors were like, look, when the scene's over, keep rolling. And we're going to riff.
Listen, not even when the scene's over, just in the midst of it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of improvising. And so, and they warned me ahead of time. They're like, okay, here's a script, but just so you know, Eddie's going to improvise. And I'm like, cool, fun, let's do that. Well, the thing is, with my role, I didn't have very many written lines. If you watch the movie, I'm not in it that much. Most of the lines that I had aren't in it anymore. So it's like, I'm pretty much like a featured extra in the movie, but it's fine. I was there and it was great and the check cleared. So it's fine. But so when he would say that, we're in a scene where I don't have a line written. The guy playing my husband does not have a line written. It's really just Eddie Murphy and Tracy Ellis Ross. They have the lines. And then like Ken Marino, who's hysterical, he had a line, but they would mic up all of us and they'd be like, just find a window, just get in there, just say something, right? I was like, listen, when in this conversation between the legend himself, Eddie Murphy, and the most hilarious woman ever, Tracy Ellis Ross, them going back and forth, when did you want me to just jump in and cut one of them off? Are you joking me? I was so nervous. I was so like nervous, intimidated, but also like knowing my place.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a matter of like, just get in there. Even if I did feel like I was the funniest person ever and I'm so quick-witted, I know I'm going to have a golden nugget every time. Like, it was a little bit of know your place type of vibe. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't even feel right trying to jump in on their written dialogue.
Yeah.
Even if they start improvising, I don't know. And then the guy who plays my husband, bless him. There was one scene where we didn't have a line, but again, they mic us just in case we find a window to say something. And Eddie and Tracy, they're saying their lines, and all of a sudden he yells out something. Okay, this is a scene where they're making the announcement that the grand prize was $100,000 in Tony's Tacos gift certificates, right? And this is for Christmas. And Eddie says something like, tacos aren't for Christmas or something like that. And then the guy playing my husband yells out, Tony's Italian. Just out of nowhere. No context, no nothing. And all of a sudden, Eddie and Tracy go, huh? And it was so awkward. And I'm holding on to him like arm in arm, and like I'm in the scene. As soon as he yells that out, like all of a sudden, like my neck starts tingling. Like I'm full on like I can't breathe. And I'm like, what is happening? Oh no, abort. What did you just do? And then they yell cut. And it was so awkward. And I'm like squeezing him at this point, like, you know, and then they yell cut. And it's like a little bit awkward moment. And then he turns around to like Eddie and Tracy and the people that play their kids. And he just goes, I was trying to shoot my shot.
Yeah.
And then they laughed. So it was good. Thank God they laughed and they didn't be like, this guy messed up our scene.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, they laughed and they got that. He was just trying to get in. He was just trying to, like, get a line in there. So he's like, I was just trying to shoot my shot. And everybody laughed and, like, we get it. But, oh, Jesus, don't do that again, please.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that idea, that setup is tough because it is like you want to go, like, dude, then what do you want? To do that would be like, we need to hang out.
Right.
So you would need to be like, we got to go to dinner. If you want to improvise a scene, I would be like, let's all,
with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to.
Well, here's the thing. Even if it was just, I never went to dinner, never met him before this moment, but it was at least a written scene where he says something, then I say something, and then we're just going to make up stuff going back and forth.
Yeah.
I could do that. I could play with you all day long. I don't care if I met you yesterday. Like, that would be fun. But I didn't have anything written. It wasn't like they're even looking at me in this scene. They're looking at each other, and I'm just supposed to, like, double dutch into their scene. You know what I mean? Like, that was the hard part, because I'm like, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, they just put me a mic on just in case. But I feel like it'd be different if, like, I had a line, then I can, like,
true.
make up stuff with it.
There's got to be a reason to go to you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was no reason to go to me. And if you're not going to go to me, I didn't feel comfortable just going to myself, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, who would? Yeah.
Tony's Italian.
Tony's Italian.
Oh, he went for it. Bold as ever. God
You should have
bless
followed
him.
up and go, he is Italian.
Yeah.
You just point to your husband and you go, don't get him started on Italian. And that's in the movie. People are like, what? And then it's just you and this guy. Just out of y'all have a big Italian.
Who are they?
Yeah. Who were the people that didn't like Italian? And you go out of nowhere. How long did it take when you went to go film this movie? How long did it take to film the movie?
Awesome cast, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
incredible.
it's an impressive cast.
I was there for like, I think 3 weeks, maybe. And then there was bad weather and they had to reschedule.
Mm-hmm.
It was one
Where was it at?
scene in LA.
Oh.
And it was one scene that I actually had written lines for. And so, of course, I'm already thinking about, like, how can I improvise in this scene? Because I know I have lines. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play it like this. And I'm already thinking of, like, ways that I could, like, I'll try it this way. I'll try it that way. Next take, whatever. And then it started pouring rain. It's outdoor. So they had to reschedule. And they kept rescheduling. And by the time they rescheduled, I was already in New York filming an episode of Amy Schumer's show, Life and Beth, when they're like, okay, we need you next Tuesday. I'm like, I'm not there. Sorry. So, like, my one scene that I was, like, ready and excited to film, I got cut out because I wasn't there.
So your part is like what's a whole movie? It's like 4 or 6 weeks, something like that?
Oh, it depends.
Yeah.
I joined in February. They started it in January, and I think it went into March. So it was like a few months.
Yeah. And it just came out.
Yep, it came out. It's on Amazon. It's a
December
fun
1st.
holiday action comedy. Heart has all the things you'd want.
Yeah.
It's a great family movie, like you and Harper, I think, would enjoy.
Yeah, it's fun. A lot of action, silliness.
I'm loving that stuff now. I'm watching. This would be right up my alley. Is because it's stuff that's not as we talk about a lot on this. Not as serious. Not as like heavy. Not as like it doesn't need to be this thing. It needs to just be like it's a joy. It was a fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a fun. Ride. We talked about Hallmark movies, and it's like Hallmark does very good with that, where they're just like very pleasant.
Manny loves Hallmark movies.
Oh yeah,
he's seen them all.
Oh yeah, and they're very fun to watch. Have you ever done one?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I think you were in a co-star of a movie that's very similar to Hallmark. I think though, The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. Same
very
premise of a Hallmark movie, I would say.
Yep, that was a faith-based film that I did.
Faith-based, but guy has to go to a small town, doesn't want to be there. Learns that life's
the Hollywood star guy comes to the small town. I play the preacher's daughter.
Yeah,
you know.
He falls for her.
That whole thing, that whole thing.
Yeah, that's great.
And then there's Jesus.
Yeah. Well, this week we're talking about sketch comedy. So Aaron and I'll take this. Let's go, Aaron. You guys can sit back for a while. Aaron and I got it.
We will take the wheel.
We are talking about sketch comedy. So, Anjelah, you mentioned briefly, but you were also a member on MadTV.
Yes.
And how'd you get that?
Well, this nail salon video blew up my spot. And then next thing you know, I got a new manager and an agent, and they got me an audition for MadTV. And
What's their audition process? Is it like the Saturday Night Live?
3 original characters
Yeah.
and 3 celebrity impressions.
Did you do?
Wow, what'd you do?
So here's the thing. I had never done sketch comedy before. I didn't go to Groundlings.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Second City or anything. Like, I didn't know anything about sketch comedy. I didn't do celebrity impressions. I still don't do celebrity impressions. I could do accents, but not celebrity impressions. So what I did was I took that joke writing class at the church, the free class.
Yeah.
And
That class really helped you a lot.
Yeah.
this class changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took some of the jokes that I wrote in that class, like, oh, I do this joke about my grandpa. I'm going to make it my grandma and I'll act her out and I'll just like give her more mannerisms. And I'm like, this original character is my grandma. And I basically just did my stand-up joke,
Yeah.
but acted it out more. And so I did that with like a few of my jokes. And one of them was Bon Qui.
Yeah.
And it was, this is my sister. She wants to be a rapper. And then I turn into Bon Qui.
Yeah.
And start beatboxing and like do the whole thing. And for celebrity impressions, I've never done that before, but I went on YouTube and I was like, okay, who are 3 Latinas who are famous that I could possibly play on a sketch show?
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez,
Mm.
Rosalind Sanchez. And then at the time, this is when Paula Abdul was the judge on American Idol. And she was very popular for seemingly looking intoxicated on the show. And she had her like drunk clap
Yeah,
that she
yeah.
would do. And so I just went on YouTube and watched videos of them. And so I watched Jennifer Lopez on the red carpet and I saw that she laughed a certain way. It was kind of like through her nose and like in the back of her throat and it's kind of high pitched and like a like something like that.
Yeah.
And she would do that in these interviews. So I was just like looking for like little pieces of them. And then I noticed on her interviews, she would wave like this. Like she didn't like wave like this. She closed her hand like this. Like this was her wave. And I was like, okay. So I copied one of her interviews and I said, this is Jennifer Lopez on the red carpet. Any question that the producers and casting directors asked me, I answered the same way. I just laughed and waved and I said, hi, Philly. Because the interview that I watched, they go, can you look in the camera and say hi to Philly? And she goes, hi, Philly. And then she laughed, right?
Yeah.
So any question they asked me, I would just say the same thing. I would laugh and I would wave and I'd say, hi, Philly. Who are you wearing tonight? Nervous laugh. Hi, Philly. Whatever. They thought it was hilarious that I made this choice to have Jennifer Lopez answer the same question the same like way.
Yeah.
Like that was a choice. It was really just the only thing that I could do with Jennifer Lopez. And I did the same thing with each other one. Like I could do her drunk clap and then so I just BS'd it
Yeah.
and I booked it.
Yeah.
And that's how that happened.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean the commitment. That's the one thing that's hurts comedians is like but when I would audition is the commitment to it, or that you going to like do all that stuff. It's like as if a comic too could be. It was almost probably good that you were not in it as much because then you actually just were like everything. You're like, oh well, I got to go. Whatever. You're like, well, I'm not gonna go. Comics you can be like, I'll do whatever I wanted to go do, and you can have like an arrogance that you shouldn't have,
Yeah.
and then, but you were in a situation where you did not have that, and so you took it the seriousness that you're supposed to take it, and then it worked out.
It was that, and it was also I didn't come into that audition needing that
Mhm.
job, whereas like a lot of the other people that were auditioning, they've been in Groundlings and there have been year after year going to study sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And so like this audition is like their life. Like
Mhm.
they've been working up to this point and they need this. Where for me, I was like, I'll try.
Mm.
So what do I got to do? Okay, impressions. Okay, let me go study. Let me
Yeah.
go do that. Like, so I had kind of an air of like, I don't need this to happen for me,
Yeah.
but I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is so
what do you
funny
want me
because I
to
feel
do?
like this is the exact opposite of the point that Nate just made.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
I did take it seriously, but it wasn't my life. I didn't need it. But I approached it with like, teach me how. How do I do it? YouTube? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I mean. Is it's taking it more serious than maybe I'm saying as a comic.
I know.
A comic could go into it and not take it serious.
Right. Yeah. But no, I definitely I approached it with, seriousness, but I didn't have the, I need this, please. Like, I can't mess this up.
Yeah. Well, you didn't even know that you would need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I was like, what? 3 celebrity impressions? Okay.
How long were you on there?
1 season, pretty much. And even in that season, it was a writer's strike. I know we just came out of a writer's strike. And the one that happened before that was in 2007. And that's when I was on MadTV. So after the strike ended, there were budget cuts. And by budget cuts, I mean me.
Yeah.
I was cut from the show. And that was it. So I really only did 4 episodes.
Oh.
And that Bon Quiqui sketch blew up. Like that was, so the Nail Salon blew up my spot. And then just as that was like trickling down a little bit, which didn't really trickle down because it still was crazy, but it started like slowing down. People knew of it already. Then it was like, oh my gosh, what do I do next? And all of a sudden this Bon Quiqui sketch, now that blows up. And it was like, I couldn't even have planned that. That was just, it did what it did. And so I had 1 sketch and people would be like, when are you doing another Bon Quiqui sketch? And I'm like, oh, I'm not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like nobody expected that Bon Quiqui sketch to blow up like it did, especially Fox. They wouldn't have let go of me if they knew that was going to blow up like it did.
And did the show end like right after that?
There was, I think, a couple more seasons after.
It ended in 2009.
Yeah, and I was on 2007.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, because they didn't know it was going to,
I was surprised. It ran for 14 seasons. I would have never guessed that. That's a long time.
You would think after it blew up, maybe they would have had you back just to even come do it. Did they ever ask you back or anything? Or?
I came back in their final season, I think it was. Or maybe it was a reunion.
Yeah, they did a reunion show.
Yeah, it was a reunion show. Yeah. And so I came back for that, and they gave Bon Quiqui a fan favorite award, like a fan favorite character.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I'm honored, but at the same time, I'm like, I disagree. Like, I would say, like, Stewart is like a fan favorite. Miss Swan, because they've been on for years and years, and you get to know Stewart in this setting and that setting, and those kinds of things. Whereas I think they judged it because this character blew up bigger than anybody's business. But also, YouTube wasn't around when Stewart was blowing up. So I think Stewart would have popped off, but everybody already knew of it. So his sketch is not going to go viral on YouTube because we already been watching Stewart for years. So we already know about Stewart. Yeah. But this was a new character, a new funny thing, a new platform. So it was just like perfect timing for it to blow up. So I was like, I feel like it was really Stewart or Miss Swan or one of those would have been a fan favorite, but they named Bon Quiqui fan favorite, which again, I'm honored and I'm grateful. But
well, I mean, it probably was though. I mean, it's, sometimes it's, that's the stuff that sticks with people. Yeah. It can be, a lot of times something in some show, especially in a lot of sketch shows, it could be your memory of something is not a big thing.
Also, I have a severe case of imposter syndrome. Yeah. So I've been told that by my team many times before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to have that. Yeah. It's always hard to.
I don't ever want to be the opposite and like walk into a room and be like, think I'm the biggest thing ever. Right. And all of a sudden be like, wait, who?
Yeah.
But if you can back it up.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Breakfast is early. That's what he says
when I walk in.
When he walks in.
They call me breakfast.
Okay.
Another B words.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Not dirty. That sounded like dirty. Yeah. Call me another B word, but no, all B words.
I'm sure.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
There's probably some. Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys grow up with a favorite sketch comedy show?
The Carol Burnett show. I remember. I mean, I was watching on, I guess, TV.
See, me too. I thought you were going to make fun of me, but I was going to say that.
Yeah, but you probably watched it live.
I did.
And
I did watch it live.
You watched. It's like you watched the Andy Griffith show. Like you might have been to a taping of the Andy Griffith show.
Taping. The studio audience.
When did Carol Burnett show?
The Carol Burnett show aired.
I saw it in the late 70s. I mean, I was young, but I saw
67 to 78.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I I was born in 79.
Maybe I saw it in syndication, but I saw it.
You probably saw it in syndication. But I remember, Mama's Family, I remember seeing that show. But wherever they would show this stuff on, what would they show it on TV Land? But that's all those shows I would watch. Dick Van Dyke.
I wasn't watching on TV. I was watching on CBS.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't remember where I watched it. But Tim Conway, the one where he does the sketch where he gets the needle.
It's still funny.
Oh, it's still funny today?
Yeah.
Good joke now, still relevant?
There's a sketch where he plays a dentist and
he puts what's it
the
called?
Novocaine, and he keeps accidentally doing it to himself, and I still think it holds up.
It's one of the best sketches ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well Tim Conway is one of the funniest people ever. Like so that stuff would have been when did he? Yeah, 2019. Yeah, Tim Conway was unreal.
Yes.
So that was very early. That would have been the sketch that I would remember.
Mm-hmm.
Would your parents let you watch Saturday Night Live?
No. I think if I would have seen Saturday Night Live, it would have been more like when you're like high school or you're, just you saw. I don't remember how you saw it, but you would see some stuff. I might have seen it like late, some. I knew about it, but I don't know. We were not sitting and watching it. But like Travis, my tour manager, like his family, they were, obsessed with Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
And so they watched it a ton. So a lot of it's through him. But then, Adam Sandler movies and all that stuff came out. Everybody knew Spade, all those,
Yeah.
Did you watch?
Oh, go ahead.
Mine was Amanda Bynes had a show called The Amanda Show on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
It was a sketch comedy. It was so funny. As a kid, it was the best.
All right, that's good.
And she was hilarious on that show.
Yeah.
And they were like recurring characters. She played like a Judge Judy character that was hilarious.
What happened to her?
She took a turn, I think.
Is she still
I don't know.
acting?
I don't know. I haven't checked in on her in a while, but she was in some movies that were.
Isn't she?
She might. I think she
got a little crazy.
I think she had some trouble.
Well, we all have.
Yeah. We all go through some stuff, but
yeah.
I think it was like real, like there was something crazy.
Now, all that was like the SNL for Nickelodeon.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Or MadTV for Nickelodeon. But
And that's where Keenan started, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Amanda Show. And actually, Taron, how you say it? Taron Killam?
Yeah. It's crazy.
He was on the Amanda Show, too.
Which not
I
Wait.
think he was on Mad TV too.
very
Yeah.
young.
So young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think if you blow up as a kid, we were talking about that on the road. It's tough. It's
Mhm.
just I don't know how many situations it works where it's gonna be a great thing because they were. Because some people they have to get out of, but they're just gonna have a weird life. It feels like.
Would you allow your daughter to be in the entertainment industry? If she's like, I want to be an
Oof.
actress.
If she wanted to, you'd have to see. I just would want her to go through all the stuff that it takes.
Has
to
she
go through it.
ever brought that up to you, like wanting to be in this industry?
Not doing comedy, but I think she's very she makes up. She'll do a song and a dance and have all these act outs, and some of them I'm always like, how are you making this up? And she's making out every move and
Mhm.
all this, and she's very creative, very funny, all that stuff. We tell her to do at school, go take, go try to do that stuff. But it's the commitment. Would they commit to it? You have to be obsessed with this. If you're not obsessed and you're just kind of like saying like, no, this is what I want to be, and then you're like, well, you got to go to practice today, and you're like, I don't want to go to practice. Well, I can already promise you it's not going to work. So it's you gotta have an obsession with it. She's obsessed with horses right now, and she has been since she was a baby. So, is old enough to know horses. So. Josh Peck, yeah,
Josh.
He was on the Amanda Show.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and Drake Bell, the two guys from Drake and Josh.
Oh yes.
And then they created it. So this show was big. This was like you'd go to school and everyone would be quoting it.
Wow.
From the night before.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Oh
I
yes.
gotta think about it.
Well, I just turned 32. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You pointed this out on a previous episode. You and Dusty born the same week, and your children born the same week.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is
Of the same
crazy.
year?
Yeah. Yeah.
The same, like the exact
Dusty
same
asked me
week.
how I knew that. In the moment, it sounded really creepy because I didn't know. But you guys both had 40th birthday parties the same week.
Mm.
And I'm the only person here probably cool enough to go to both. So,
Yeah.
probably the only person in Nashville that went, that was cool enough to go to both. So, anyway, I'm a cool guy. But anyway, that's how I knew. I'm a cool
And then his
cat.
baby was born like 2 days after Rose.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Or the
about
next
that?
day. I don't remember.
it's very close.
Mhm.
Oh, you should tell Anjelah about Delete Me.
Oh man, we are so excited to talk about our new sponsor, Delete Me. Nate and Laura have been using it for a long time, and now I've signed up. The onboarding process is easy. You put your information in, Delete Me goes in and clears out all your personal data, scours the internet for your personal data.
What?
Yeah.
As a person who exists publicly, I'm sure you're hyper aware of safety and security. It's
Uh-huh.
easier
Don't
than
find
ever
address, anything.
to find
What?
personal information about people online. All this data is just hanging out on the internet and can have actual consequences in the real world. Sign up and provide Delete Me with exactly what information you want deleted, and their experts take it from there.
Whoa.
They send you regular personalized privacy reports showing what info they found, where they found it,
No.
and what they removed. And it's not just a one-time service. They are always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing the personal information you don't want on the internet. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Nate and use promo code Nate at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Nate and enter code Nate at checkout. One more time. That's joindeleteme.com/Nate. Code Nate.
Wow, that's incredible.
Mhm.
And then when you're done using that service, then you can go to Rocket Money and have them go.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Delete
yeah.
it.
It's a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
You'll
That's
clean up
crazy.
your whole life.
Delete, yeah.
Have you ever accidentally posted your personal information? You don't do a lot of like personal
Yeah.
story, like you're on your Instagram stories, like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm at home with my family. You don't do a lot of that
No.
anyway.
But remember once we had a guy text me and Soder, and a guy texted, I think he texted me and Soder together and just said, hey, I'm just letting you know your phone numbers are very easy to find. And then that was it. And then he goes,
Oh my God.
but it was actually like a very nice way. Like
Uh-huh.
it really wasn't. He's like, I'm never texting you again. I'm not trying to text you. He's like,
Wow.
and he was just kind of like, just heads up, your numbers, because your number will be linked to. That's our stuff for anybody that's older than kind of the new age of social media.
Mhm.
Like we were, when you signed up for stuff, you just linked. I mean, you put your social security number down on
Yeah.
your MySpace page. Like you
yeah.
didn't, none of it mattered.
yeah.
And so you didn't do it. That's with YouTube videos. Even sometimes you have old videos up, and you're like, yeah, because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
No one watched it. And then so there's people are like, well, these videos are all the same. You're like, yeah, because no one watched
Uh-huh.
any of them.
Yeah.
And so now people are watching, so you don't think about it.
Yeah.
Did you post your stuff?
Yes, I have accidentally done that before. Like mail with my address on it.
Oh yeah,
Now I have to check my husband's page is what it is.
Yeah.
Because he'll just be flippantly out there in front of the house just with the address on the back. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, bruh, take it down.
yeah.
But yes, somebody did get my phone number one time. And I don't respond to people that just leave me like a hi or something like
Yeah.
that from a number I don't know. I'm like, what? No,
Yeah.
spam. Bye. And a lot of times I don't even respond to if it's not programmed in my phone because I don't delete anybody's phone number. So if I don't have you programmed, then I for real don't know you unless you got a new number. So if you're texting me, then you have to lead with, it's me. I got a new number. Otherwise, you're not going to
Yeah.
get a response from me. Anyways, this person messaged me, how you been? I don't respond to that. I don't
No.
know you. You're not programmed. Months later, that same number texts me again. It's another similar how you been type of thing. I'm like, I'm not responding to this person. And then like a couple months later was very specific and was like, Anjelah, I loved your new special. when is your next one? Or something that sounded familiar, like it's probably an old friend.
Yeah.
And maybe they did tell me they got a new number and I forgot to save it or something. And I'm like, okay, this feels a little more specific. So I reply and I go, I didn't program this number. Who is this? And then they're like, you don't remember me? We met at such and such party. I don't go to a lot of parties.
Yeah.
Okay. I already know you're lying now. Because I'm like, no, we didn't. I would have never given you my phone number, first of all. And then it starts turning to like, yeah, mommy, you don't remember. We met at this party. You gave me your number. I'm like, first of all, I've been married for 12 years. I definitely didn't give you my number at a party. Then they start sending me nasty pictures. And then I'm like, oh, hell no. I for sure don't know this. And then it's like, delete, block, all the things. But I took the number and my friend had some sort of like software that is very like FBI type software, whatever, and did like a reverse search on that. Well, they started saying their name. First, I started Googling their name. And they were for sure using this fake name. And it was like a porn star or somebody. I'm like, that's not who's really texting me. This person is not, somebody is pretending to be that person. And they reversed the number and it went to some rando dude. And it was like in Ohio or something. And it was just one of those moments of like scary, like somebody got a hold of my information and for months has been trying to reach me and text me and like sending me messages and finally was like specific enough to where I was like, oh, it's somebody I know. Okay, who is this? Oh, hell. It was like violating.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I hate it.
Delete me.
Delete me is for
Done.
that. I have I have some random number sends me pictures of a tiger. I swear.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know whose number it is, but I have 10, 12 tiger
But he likes it.
pictures.
So he's like, send more.
Yeah, I don't know whose number. I don't. But it's just he randomly.
Do you ever respond?
No, I've never responded, and it's just always a picture of a tiger.
Do you have a thread of just tigers?
Yep.
Like, I love that.
Yeah, I have a thread of tigers.
Is it like this guy is taking pictures of a tiger and sending them to you, or is he finding pictures from the internet?
It's pictures from the internet, but it's just of a tiger. It's always a tiger, and he just sends it, and I don't know who it is. And I'm the worst because I'm always feel bad if I don't. I'm like, I'm probably supposed to have this person's number, and but you don't know. I mean, I'll have people send them as text, and they text you where they don't have they won't say who it is. Sometimes it could honestly be a famous person, and they won't. They say their name in it though, and you're like, yo, dude, I don't know where this is coming from.
Or just an initial.
Yeah. Weird, like they're just text you something. You're like, now I got to figure out who this person is, or whatever it is, and people don't just say it's never bad to go. Just throw your name back. Hey, this is, or at the end of it, say the person's name. Say your name. People just assume, they just text.
What's interesting about that is my name is spelled so uniquely, right? So if I ever am like, I wonder if this is still so-and-so's number, and I'm like, hey, Janelle, is this still your number? I don't want to say it's me, Anjelah.
Yeah.
Because of the way my name is spelled. Because then if it's not their number and then somebody like happens to know who I am and there's not very many people who spell their name Anjelah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then I'm like, okay, I'll just put like Ange or something.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me, Anj. At least that is a little like something. Like there's a little hint of who I am. Is this you?
You should put ANG and put quotation marks around the G. And then they would get it. You know? They would be like, I know who this is. You know what's funny? That's how I spell Anjelah. The only way I would ever spell it is your way.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, just because I'd only spell it hers. Anjelah's
You don't know
way.
any other Anjelahs?
No, I do. I don't know. I think
He just didn't care.
I don't. Yeah,
You don't spell their names ever.
I don't spell their name. Then I guess I've just said you're the Anjelah I've said the most.
Thank
So
you.
I'm a J Anjelah guy. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite sketch show growing up?
I loved both Saturday Night Live and Mad TV because I loved Stuart and Miss Swan, those characters that I mentioned. And yeah, I loved them both. I didn't have like, I was never team like rivalry, like team Saturday Night Live or like people who are MadTV fans are not Saturday Night Live. I was never that.
What about Living Color?
Oh, I loved In Living Color. Oh, I definitely loved In Living Color. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Were they like a different type of person that would watch either show?
Yeah.
Okay. And then in what way?
I would say
you and I would be Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I would say Saturday Night Live looked like you, and In Living Color looked like Angel.
I mean, as I asked the question, I was like, "Oh boy, I hope she likes
Yeah.
Living Color." 'Cause if not, I'm gonna get canceled.
I mean, Jim Carrey.
No, oh yeah, it was crazy.
He's the exception.
But I'm just younger. In Living Color was
No, but
probably
I mean,
younger.
legend like Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, like
Yeah.
yes, younger.
Mhm.
I mean, Jennifer Lopez started as one of the Fly Girls. In Living Color was
In Living Color is crazy.
incredible. One year for Halloween, I wanted to be a Fly Girl for Halloween, and I was just wearing like spandex with like a glittery headband and like glitter on. And I remember like going trick or treating, and they're like, "And what are you?" And I'm like, "I'm a Fly Girl."
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that?
That's crazy. In Living Color had all those people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've shared this before, but I think it's worth sharing again because it's very interesting. They changed the NFL, the Super Bowl halftime show. The Super Bowl halftime show used to just be something very generic. One year it was the Disney characters doing a halftime thing. And in Living Color at halftime, they were on a separate network of the Super Bowl. They did a live show, and people turned away from the Super Bowl at halftime to watch In Living Color. And it took away viewers to the point where the next year the Super Bowl booked Michael Jackson as their halftime entertainment.
Wow.
And ever since then,
That's
it's been a
cool.
huge deal.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Michael
Thank
Jackson
you for sharing it again.
He was a big deal.
He was pretty big.
I have heard of
Pretty
him. Yeah.
Pretty big. Would you ever seen Michael Jackson in person?
I went to his house.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
When?
This was
Neverland Ranch?
Yeah.
Yes. I went to Neverland Ranch for his birthday party.
What?
Listen, this is a wild, wild story. I must start from the beginning. I had just moved to Hollywood. I was a cheerleader for the Oakland Raiders.
Mm.
So I had an in to get in places, right? It was just like my one little card I could flash. Anyway, so one of my girlfriends was in a music video, and the artist that she was in the video for was throwing a concert. And so we went to the concert and we were backstage. We were total groupies. I was full on groupie mode. So we're backstage, and there's a guy there. We meet him and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a producer." And I had remembered a friend told me, if you ever meet somebody in Hollywood, they say they're a producer. It's a big fat lie. Everybody says they're a producer. Don't even fall for it. So they're like, if they say, "Give me your information, I'm a producer," don't do it. And I'm like, okay, noted. And then so I meet this guy and he's like, are you guys dancers? And we're like, yeah, we're all dancers. Cause I mean, we were, but it was just like, yeah, we're dancers. And he's like, okay, well, I'm throwing a birthday party and I need some go-go dancers at this party. Let me get your information. I'm a producer. I'm producing this live event. Let me get your information. I was like, yeah, sure. So I give him my phone number. Like, okay, cool. And he calls me like a few days later and he is like, hey, so I need 6 girls. He didn't say girls. Keep that in mind. He said, I need 6 dancers and it's for a birthday party and it's next weekend. Can you get me 6 dancers? I was like, yeah, I got you. And he's like, okay, cool. Oh, by the way, it's at Neverland Ranch. It's for Michael Jackson's birthday.
Wow.
And I was like, shut up. No way. Yeah. Okay, sure. I get 6 dancers. Got you. I hang up the phone. Now that I know it's Michael Jackson's house, I did not try to get 6 dancers. I called 6 of my friends.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, do you want to be a go-go dancer? So, and I didn't even call girls. I called my homies. I called Chuck. Chuck is a real dancer. Harry, who's a real dancer. Harry Shum, who's actually a very famous actor now and like has blown up like crazy. But we were all dancers. We do commercials and like music videos and stuff like that. And so I called I was like, Chuck, you want to go to Michael Jackson's house? Harry, you want to go to Michael Jackson's house? I called my friend DJ Angie V. She's not even professionally dancing. She's just like good at dance. I'm like, girl, you want to go to Michael Jackson's house? I just called my friends. Yeah. So a bunch of us got together. And we went to the radio station and there was a charter bus at the radio station. I think it was like Kiss FM or something. And we load into this charter bus and they drive us out to Neverland Ranch. And we get there and they're like, you can't bring in cameras or anything. This is before cell phone cameras, right? So like, you can't bring cameras or anything like that. Leave all your stuff in the car. So we in the bus. So we get out, and there's like the archway, these gates, and you go through, and the first thing you see is a train stop. And you're waiting in the train depot. This is on Neverland Ranch. While you're waiting in this little train depot, they have like ice cream and like goodies. So like, you get an ice cream, and then you hop on this little train, and the train takes you all the way to Neverland Ranch, right? So you're just eating your ice cream on a train going to Neverland Ranch.
And it's like huge.
Yes. It's like a huge property. And so like, you see it, and then you see Michael Jackson's house is like right there. Like, whoa, that's his house?
Yeah.
Like right there. And then right behind it was his kids' playhouse, which is like a house that's like equally as big, but it's just the playhouse.
Yeah.
And then we go to the ranch. We go see the games. There's like a just like when you go to an amusement park and they have rides, the Ferris wheel, they had a movie theater, like a full movie theater with concession stand and everything. And I remember going into this movie theater, and all the concession was free. So they gave me like this big bucket for popcorn, but filled it up with like king size candies of everything. You really were like a kid.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. Anyway, they had this big, huge tent out there, like an event tent. And you go in, they have a DJ, and they had go-go dancers that were dancing on the boxes and stuff. And we walk in, and the guy who booked us, he goes, "Oh, I guess they already booked dancers. Well, just enjoy yourselves."
Oh, wow.
So we didn't even
Yeah.
dance or
Oh.
anything. We literally were just at Michael Jackson's birthday party,
Wow.
just walking around. And I remember at one point, there's security guards at like every corner. And there was this like group of people that started congregating around this one area. And so I go up to this security guard, and I'm like, "What's happening over here?" And he goes, "Just stand by me." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Just stand by me." I'm like, "Okay." And I go, "Angie, come here." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Just stand by me." And he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know, but something's about to go down."
Yeah.
So we're standing by the security guard. There's a bunch of people congregating. All of a sudden, next thing you know, the DJ announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the birthday boy himself, Michael Jackson." And he comes walking out of this door and walks right in front of us. And we became like those girls in the documentaries that just start crying when they see Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we became them. He walks past us, and we're like, "Oh my God." We're like reaching for him. We're shaking. We're crying. We're looking at each other like, "Why are we crying?" You're like, "I don't know." It was wild. The most wild experience. I remember like going into his kids' like playhouse and just like looking at his kids' drawings on there. And I'm like, this feels violating. Like, I probably
Yeah.
should not be in this playhouse. And like, it was just the weirdest thing being at Michael Jackson's
Wow.
house. And then after the party's done, we load up onto the bus and we ride back to LA.
Wow.
And we're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Were there other celebrities there?
So that's the thing, is there weren't that many celebrities. I think earlier in the day, there was like a big event, because I remember seeing like in like People magazine or Us Weekly or one of those like tabloid magazines, they had pictures from Michael Jackson's birthday party, and it was like a daytime event
Yeah.
at the thing. And there was all kind of celebrities that were there. And then for the party, there wasn't that many people left. Like there was a couple people that are like, "Oh, I've seen that guy on TV." Oh, but
Yeah.
no, it wasn't like Leonardo DiCaprio was there or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was the most wild. I had just moved to Hollywood like maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
I just got there.
Yeah.
I was like,
Michael
this
Jackson.
is my life now.
It's
Wild.
crazy.
Did did you ever get to meet him or anything, or did you never really get
No.
close enough?
No, that was it.
Like, how many people are there? Like 1,000?
No, maybe like a couple hundred.
Oh wow.
Was the rest of the night just mingling, or was it orchestrated?
Dancing. It was just dancing, food, music.
Did he speak or anything?
I think he did like a thank you. Everybody saying happy birthday, and he did like a thank you guys for coming, have fun, blah blah blah. And that was it.
Yeah. How old was he then?
I don't know.
remember. It was 2003 though.
Okay. He was probably around 50.
20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he was born in 58.
Look up his birthday party and see if they have images from his birthday party in 2003.
He was 45 at the time.
45. Oh, he's my age.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know.
I'll look for some
like,
pictures.
Yeah, wow.
Well, while you're looking that up, let me tell you about BetterHelp.
Oh, I
'Cause
can't
we
wait.
can all use some BetterHelp, right? And what are some things that you want to keep the same about yourself or your life in 2024? This is the new year. Around New Year's, we sometimes think about how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we've already been doing right. Kind of like you finally organizing one part of your space and you want to tackle another. Well, therapy helps you find your strengths so you don't have to have extreme resolutions and make small changes that stick. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. You get a therapist, you don't like the therapist, we get it. We can change it up. We can start all over. Celebrate the progress you've already made by visiting betterhelp.com/Nate today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Nate.
I need a new therapist.
You do?
Mine's too expensive.
Yeah, well, better help.
BetterHelp. Use
There you go.
promo code Nate.
I will do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So this was Michael Jackson.
This
This is a party?
says 2003.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean,
Well, he looks good.
Yeah.
Does any of that look familiar, Anjelah?
I do remember him wearing white,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
There you are.
oh my god, they got me! No, I don't think that's it.
Yeah.
That looks like a charity event or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a guy that's like probably been thrown for his every birthday. He probably got thrown 12
Right.
parties.
Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This town would like to throw you this party. You know, man, that's
I have
crazy.
never even thought to Google images from that day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that when I
Have
get
you ever
home.
talked about it? Or-
I wrote about it in my book.
oh yeah.
I tried telling it on stage, this story that I just
Yeah.
told, but I couldn't ever crack it because there's so many details. Like I gave you the abridged version. There's so many details to this story that make you go like, no way. Like, and then this led to this and no way. And then this, oh my gosh. And on stage, it took too long. You got to cut the fat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And I was like, but then if I cut the fat, you don't really get like how big this moment was and everything. And so it didn't work. And I was like, I'm going to save this for a book one day. And so when I wrote my
Yeah,
book,
it's perfect
I
for
added
that.
it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a. Yeah. I mean, to see that big of a star.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of the most famous people ever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And be at Neverland Ranch. It's 2,700 acres.
So big.
Where was it at?
Santa Barbara.
Oh.
I think Santa Barbara. I think so.
So you just drive up there? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Chartered a bus. That's the guy from the radio. That
What?
might be, looks like a radio station party.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. I'm going to share some stuff about Saturday Night Live that I thought was very interesting that I never learned. So the reason Saturday Night Live even started is because NBC affiliates at 11:30 Eastern on Saturday nights were running Johnny Carson reruns. It was one of the episodes that had aired earlier in the week. But Johnny wanted to stop working so much. He wanted to take a night off during the week and rerun that episode there. So he was like, you got to find something else for Saturday night at 11:30. So the NBC president went to Lorne Michaels, who I think maybe was 29 years old,
Wow.
something like that at the time, super, super young, and said, can you come up with a show? There was already a show called Saturday Night Live that had just started on ABC,
No way.
hosted by Howard Cosell.
Wow.
Do you know who Howard Cosell is? He's this old sports announcer that did Monday
Wow.
Night Football. The last person you would think that would be hosting a show called Saturday Night Live. And it was one of the worst shows in television history.
Yeah.
That guy right there.
Yeah. He did like the Muhammad Ali fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he would do those big, he was just the biggest named ever.
Was that you just saying that? It's one of
He
the
is,
worst shows of all time? Or
He
is
has
that
my same
Well,
birthday.
that's what I read. I didn't see it myself, but it got canceled
Look at
pretty
that.
quick.
He was
Oh,
born
there.
March 25th.
How about that?
Same
How
birthday,
about it?
1918. So that means NOAA was 118 years old. It's
Yep.
nothing.
Yep. So they couldn't call Saturday Night Live
Uh-huh.
because there was already a Saturday Night Live. So when it first started, it was called NBC Saturday Night. which I
Oh.
never knew. But then they would say live from New York, it's Saturday night, instead of saying it's Saturday Night Live, which I
Yeah.
never even thought about.
Mm.
And the Howard Cosell show, because it aired during prime time, they were called the Primetime Players. So on SNL, they were called the Not Ready for Primetime Players.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
That's
that is
cool.
That is good.
And
They
then,
still have all that stuff too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's still
Yeah.
all that. Now, the Howard Cosell Saturday Night Live version did not last very long. But he
It
had,
was a sketch show.
yeah, but it was apparently terrible. It had Bill Murray, Brian Doyle Murray, who I had no idea that was Bill Murray's brother, but he's been in a ton of stuff. Christopher Guest. So they had some big people,
Wow.
but it just didn't last very long.
Nate, how did it feel saying the slogan? Like,
Saturday Night Live.
yeah, the live.
I didn't say it.
You didn't say it?
No, I didn't realize it either till that thing. But it's always a cast member.
Oh, okay.
Because I never realized that. Because I thought, maybe because their first sketches. Because I said I didn't want to do anything politics, so the first sketch usually is topical or politics. So then I was like, oh, I don't even now get a chance to say it's like, but I didn't realize it's always a cast member.
Oh, it's never a guest.
It's been a guest a few times, but if it's a guest, it was like Alec Baldwin playing Trump. Like
Right.
someone that's been on the show
yes.
a million times.
Even his episode, Christopher Walken was the one that said it. Right?
Yes.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's cool, though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I would have been so nervous. I'd be like, oh my God, this is the one part I cannot mess up.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was almost, once you realize it's like no one's saying it, you're like, it's kind of a relief. Like, you're like, okay, well then I'll,
Mhm.
because otherwise you're just, you're like, well, did I do something? Why are they not letting me say it? Like, it could be a million things, but then you're like, no. And I think I like it that it's reserved for the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I like that
it
too.
really makes it
Special.
about the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
James Austin Johnson, our friend who's from here, he was playing Biden and Trump in his very first episode ever as a cast member. He was in the very first scene, the cold open. He came out as Biden and got to say live from New York in his very first episode, very first scene.
Wow.
And
That's gotta be crazy.
I know. And then maybe your episode was the first one where they switched it to Mikey Day playing Biden.
It was.
And, the reason I read, which makes sense, it's going to be Trump and Biden.
Yeah, they're gearing up for, they got to be.
So he can't play both.
Oh,
Right.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And he's a great Biden, but James is a really great Trump.
Yeah.
So that's why they switched it.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they officially said that, but that's what I read, and that does seem to make sense.
Yeah.
So,
That does make sense.
yeah,
Lorne Michaels one of the most impressive people I've ever met. I mean, really crazy.
Did you get to have conversation with
Oh,
him? Like
yeah.
real conversation?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And I mean, he makes you feel like a star. Like he makes you feel like, I mean, man, that guy's done everything. You do a dinner, it's just, he's such a brilliant dude. He's there, he's around, you see the cast will go up and talk to him at the after party. And, I don't think no one feels it's the perfect amount of respect and like accessibility where I think I'm sure people do take advantage of his time, but it feels like the people that would be close to the show, it's like, well, if I need to go say something, I think I can feel like I can go talk to him, but you're not going to just go for no reason talk to him. And that's why you see all the old cast members, them being around him, they really gravitate towards him. And
That's
he's
cool.
just like a father almost to
Like dad.
so many people.
Mhm.
Yeah. A lot of people's careers is just,
Wow.
this guy was the guy that you would go to and ask for a lot of stuff.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Like, his Vice and all that. Yeah.
it's only been delayed like maybe 3 times ever. One of them was the Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. That's the famous Bill Buckner
Yeah.
game. It went to extra innings, and it was delayed a couple hours starting. Jennifer Lopez hosted once, and there was an XFL game going on. XFL just started, and the game went long, and they didn't tell her that this isn't going out live. They went ahead and did it starting at 11:30, but it was actually 45 minutes late. But Lorne Michaels was so mad about it that he went to NBC. The XFL changed their rules just to accommodate him
Wow.
as far as the length of the game. And they agreed if the game's never over, they're just switching to Saturday Night Live no matter what.
Wow.
And then the third time was just 3 years ago when Dave Chappelle hosted the first episode after the 2020 election, and the Clemson Notre Dame football game went to double overtime.
Mhm.
It started a little late.
Wow.
So
What time is it?
Oh,
we can wrap it
we
up.
can wrap it up. 6:45.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go feed my daughter.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. My boobs are telling me I need to feed an infant.
Yeah,
I
Hold
hear you,
on,
sister.
What time is it?
We've all been there.
Yeah. You go, Angela, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we're good. That's a that's a real reason. It's the only real reason we've ever had
Yeah.
someone to leave.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, most time people just leave. But there you go. Yeah,
Most
that's
time
right.
Nate just asked me to leave, and
Yeah.
we know it's time to wrap it up.
You can just tell by time, like your body just like you can just guess what time it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Time check, please.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've really enjoyed obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Finally
people have
get
been
it.
asking forever for you to be
Yeah.
on, so
Aw,
we're so
no way,
thrilled you finally
cool.
could do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's the first episode of the new year.
First episode of the Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Huh?
Happy New Year.
2024.
How's your year
Yeah.
going?
How's your year?
How's your year going? You have what do you have? You have your movie Candy Lane's out. You'll be on
Candy
tour.
Lane, my hour special on YouTube is called Say I
Yes.
Won't. Check that out. Share with all your friends.
And your
yeah,
tour.
I'm
You're on the road.
I'm on the road. So come see me. Go to my website, Anjelah.com, and come see me.
This weekend, I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Looney Bin, January 4th through 6th. I just opened for Anjelah in Tulsa at Hard Rock Casino, and she introduces me from the side of the stage. She said, "What do you want me to say?" And I said, "Tell them I'm at the Looney Bin, January 4th through 6th." And she said, "They ain't going to remember that. I'm just going to say a good friend of mine, Brian Bates."
Yeah.
Go see his website. So now I'm letting y'all know I'm at Looney Bin, January 4th through 6th. She said, "They ain't going to remember all
Yeah.
that. Just going out there."
I'm in Columbus, Ohio at the Funny Bone this weekend, then St. Paul, Minnesota next weekend, and then Dayton, Ohio the next
All
weekend.
right.
That's
All
my
right.
January.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year in 2024. Here we are. All right. We love you. See you next week. Bye. Nateland is produced by Nateland Productions and by me, Nate Bargatze, and my wife Laura on the Audio Boom platform. Recording and editing for the show is done by Genovations Media. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch us next week on the Nateland Podcast.